Hey, welcome back to the High Impact Flicks channel. Before we get started, I ran across this clip from the 1993 film Falling Down, starring Michael Douglas, who plays a guy named William Foster. William's got this baseball bat in his hand and starts trashing the place because he's pissed off about the hyper-inflated prices on items in a Korean convenience store while he stands under a sign that says Corona. Definitely nothing to see here. And in case you still don't think that we're living in a made-for-TV and social media fabricated reality, this is the Assistant Secretary of Health, and her yearly physical requires the administration of a prostate exam. But we really shouldn't be that shocked about it, because the liberals who call for the removal of Joe Rogan off of the internet for spouting misinformation are the same liberals who say that men can become women, get pregnant, and have periods. So you're not slipping into the Twilight Zone. Baby, you are already here. People ask me all the time, "Hey Brian, do you really use that keto elevate stuff, and does it really work?" The answer is yes and yes. Never in my entire life have I lost body fat so quickly. Not even in my prime at 25, which is over 25 years ago. I'm approaching 54 this year. If you want to support the channel and do your health a favor, grab some with my link in the description. 75-year-old Donald Trump launched a classic troll in letter form on fake stream media, and as could be predicted in this dog and pony show of complicated psychopathy, most of them took the bait in this scripted reality show that we all still find ourselves in. CNN's headline reads, "Donald Trump told the world about his hole-in-one in the Trumpiest way possible." And I gotta admit, Trump's announcement is pretty funny. Here's what he said. "Many people are asking, so I'll give it to you now. It is 100% true. While playing with the legendary golfer Ernie Els, winner of 4 majors and approximately 72 other tournaments throughout the world, Gene Sowers and these other people, all excellent players, I made a hole-in-one. It took place at Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida, on the 7th hole, which was playing 181 yards into slight wind. I hit a 5-iron, which sailed magnificently into a rather strong wind with approximately 5 feet of cut, whereupon it bounced twice and then went clank into the hole. These great tour players noticed it before I did because their eyes are slightly better, but on that one hole only, their swings weren't. Anyway, there's a lot of chatter about it, quite exciting, and people everywhere seem to be asking for the facts. Playing with that group of wonderful, talented players was a lot of fun. The match was Ernie and me with no strokes against Gene, Mike, and Ken. I won't tell you who won because I'm a very modest individual, and you will then say I was bragging. And I don't like people who brag, okay? And here's what I envision that swing looking like.
There is one there. Oh, God.
This is what they really said happened after the hole-in-one.
President made a hole-in-one, 180-yard 5-iron. Let's see.
That's great.
There it is.
That's great. Thank you. That's
The guys want a picture with you.
Let's get a picture. You don't see that.
You don't see that very often.
Come on, get a picture, little guy.
Unbelievable.
Get right here, squiggly right here with the flag.
Yeah, the flag.
You know we're in trouble when legacy media busies itself covering Trump's golf game rather than calling out the criminals at the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and the Zio banksters who all own Congress. And speaking of the overpaid charlatans in Congress, Matt Gaetz asked the assistant director of FBI cybersecurity where Hunter Biden's laptop is, and the guy sits there and claims that he can't even tell the American people whether or not the laptop has been assessed as a point of vulnerability to national security. And watch what Chairman Natty Jerry Nadler does at the end when Gaetz wants to submit into the record the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop.
So where is it? The laptop.
Sir, I'm not here to talk about the laptop. I'm here to talk about the FBI cyber program.
You are the assistant director of FBI Cyber. I want to know where Hunter Biden's laptop is. Where is it?
Sir, I don't know that answer.
That is astonishing to me. Has FBI Cyber assessed whether or not Hunter Biden's laptop could be a point of vulnerability, allowing America's enemies to hurt our country?
Sir, the FBI cyber program is based off of what's codified in Title 18, Title 18, Section 1030, a code which talks about computer intrusions, right, using nefarious intent network.
But you've talked about passwords here. I mean, Hunter Biden's password on his laptop was Hunter02. He drops it off at a repair store. I'm holding the receipt from Max Computer Repair, where in December 2019, they turned over this laptop to the FBI. And what now you're telling me right here is that as the assistant director of FBI Cyber, you don't know where this is after it was turned over to you 3 years ago.
Yes, sir, that's an accurate statement.
How are Americans supposed to trust that you can protect us from the next colonial pipeline if it seems that you can't locate a laptop that was given to you 3 years ago from the first family, potentially creating vulnerabilities for our country?
Sir, it's not in the purview of my investigative responsibilities.
But that is shocking that you wouldn't, as the assistant director of cyber, know whether or not there are international business deals, kickbacks, shakedowns that are on this laptop that would make the first family suspect to some sort of compromise. Mr. Assistant Director, have you assessed whether or not the first family is compromised as a result of the Hunter Biden laptop?
Sir, as a representative of the FBI cyber program, it is not in the realm of my responsibilities to deal with the questions that you're asking me.
Has anyone at FBI Cyber been asked to make assessments whether or not the laptop creates a point of vulnerability?
Sir, we have multiple lines of investigative responsibility in the FBI. They're all available in public source.
Well, I would think you'd know this one. I mean, I would think that if the president's son, who does international business deals, referencing the now president with the Chinese, with Ukrainians, I mean, have you assessed whether or not the Hunter Biden laptop gives Russia the ability to harm our country?
Sir, again, we can do this back and forth for the next couple of minutes. I don't have any information about the Hunter Biden laptop or the
But should you? I mean, you're the assistant director of FBI Cyber.
By the block and line chart, no, sir, I should not.
Who should we put in that chair to ask questions about this laptop that FBI has had for 3 years?
Sir, I'm not in a position to make a recommendation who should say.
So you don't have it, you don't know who has it, you don't know where it is, you're the assistant director. You know, earlier you talked about whether or not you were the Grant Hill or the Christian Laettner. It sounds like you're the Chris Webber trying to call a timeout when you don't have one. So I mean, who is it? Do you even know who has it? Do you know who we should put in that chair to ask these questions to?
No, sir, I don't know who has it.
Well, could you find out and tell us? You're going to have to give us briefings, thanks to Mr. Liu and Mr. Massey's question about whether or not the FBI was taking a $5 million test drive on the Pegasus system that was being used to target people in politics, people in government, people in the media, people in American life. So will you commit to give us a briefing as the assistant director of FBI Cyber as to where the laptop is, whether or not it's a point of vulnerability, whether or not the American people should wonder whether or not the first family is compromised?
Sir, I'd be happy to take your request back to our office.
Gosh, I mean, will you advocate for that briefing? As You will?
I will be happy to take your request back to FBI headquarters.
Well, do you believe that that is a briefing that the Congress is worthy of having, I guess?
Sir, I'm not going to answer that question. Right? I'm here to talk. The
Is that
invitation,
time
sir,
out?
the invitation says oversight of the FBI's cyber division. It does not say anything.
Well,
about
right,
the
but I mean,
top
this is a cyber asset. This
It's
is a
not a
point of
cyber asset.
vulnerability. If there are passwords, if there are business deals, if there are references to things that could harm our country, like you can't even sit here right now and say that you know that there's not a point of vulnerability. Maybe there are other crimes, maybe there are tax issues or whatever, but as it relates to our, I mean, is the first family sufficient cyber infrastructure to protect? You don't even know if they're compromised. Tell you what, Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record of this committee the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop, which I'm in possession of.
I'm not.
There's no objection to that.
So I can't say no objection.
I've never had.
I
such
will
a long-
object pending further investigation.
And what's the basis of that objection?
It's a unanimous consent request, and I object pending.
Very well, I have a subsequent question.
Uh,
Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the receipt.
It may very well be
From the Mac
entered-
shop.
It may very well be entered into the record after we look at it further.
Very well, Mr. Chairman, I have a
Ms.
subsequent
Demings is not
unanimous
recognized.
consent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the receipt from the Department of
Mr.
Justice
Chairman, this is
to
Ms.
the
Deming.
Mac
Am I
shop.
next, or am I next?
Without objection.
That CNN and other fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, lamestream, MK Ultra media outlets haven't laid out in detail everything that was on Hunter Biden's laptop tells you everything you need to know about their desire to get out the truth, or lack of desire. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com, and subscribe to my backup channel, Grease Monkey Videos. And here's the deal. If you want to support the channel further, grab a hard-hitting conversation-starting design from the store that you can put on any shirt, hoodie, mug, baseball cap, whatever you want. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video. Hey guys, we know with the way things have been going, it can get really interesting really quick. So make sure you and your family have a long-term storable food supply. Support the channel and get $50 off with my link in the description while you still can.